anybody have questions? I have a question, but you can start. Yeah, I mean, is that okay? Yeah. It's a little weird, I get it. But does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? I have one. Could you both talk a little bit about just like the beginning process of writing the book, like when you realized you had an idea? I feel like there are a lot of students in the room, and just kind of hearing like when you knew you had something that you wanted to work with, and what was the first thing that like got you into the book?
For me, I was writing short stories mostly when I started this book, and I thought I was writing a short story. I have an interest in characters, especially historical characters, who had some kind of progressive idea and then some kind of blind spot, usually because of when they were living. So something that we now might laugh at or call pseudoscience or call offensive or be offended by and see as totally wrong. And I read about this dentist, Weston Price, in a Michael Pollan book. And there was just one paragraph about him, and I was just reading this book because I was interested in food. It was Omnivore's Dilemma. And it was just this one paragraph about this dentist who had these progressive ideas about whole foods, local diets. But he also had ideas of his time that he, I guess, believed in like the noble savage and eugenics, and a lot of his research was shaped by eugenics, which is what a lot of people practiced at the time. And I was just really interested in that dualism of somebody with ideas that we now think are right and progressive, that whole foods, local diets are good for us and for our world, but then also there's ideas that are wrong and offensive and led to terrible things. So I was like, oh, I'm interested in that guy. And then I started researching him and read that he had a son who died from a root canal that he had performed that became infected. And that emotional pang was what captured me. And in later research, I found that that actually is probably not true. That's why it's fiction. So that was what started me on the... So I wrote a sprawling short story that was not very good, but I was still interested in it and kept working on it.
Well, in the case of this book, I felt kind of almost emerged kind of against my will, in the sense that there was the event that led to the writing of the book when I was with a group of people who found this person who had died, and just sat down a few days later with the first poem, not the first poem from the book, but the first poem that I wrote from the book. Almost like it was just kind of writing itself, and some more poems followed, and I felt that in a way, I tried to read some of the poem that deals with some of the questions about this, but conflicted about writing about it, and like the sense that it might be exploitative or wrong to write about it, and I'm still not sure. I do still think that there are ways in which it is, but I just wasn't able to write about anything else, so the book kind of just kept going and developing, and I tried to deal with that by incorporating some of the questions that I had about it into the poems themselves.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, are you sure? All right. Okay, well, so thank you for humoring me. That was really, really interesting. If you guys are interested in having your book signed, you'll want to purchase it first at the counter, and then come find Margaree and Shena. In addition, you'll see on the floor a wonderful poet named Joe Hoppy, who's another professor in the creative writing department. He teaches classes here, I teach classes. David Leidig teaches classes in the English department, so if you have any questions about the classes at ACC, you can come find us and talk to us. Otherwise, major congratulations to both of you, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much to Malvern for hosting us, and thank you all for being here. And hope you you have a good night.